What's going on, Grunt? Another discussion for you. We're going to talk about trying to keep our feet warm and maybe dry. Chances are, depending on what you're doing in the field, as a grunt, your feet will never be dry. But it's okay if they're going to get sweaty or soaking wet, as long as we can keep them warm. And then whenever we get the chance, swap out socks to try to at least not have them get that freaking prune thing, because then you start losing skin, your feet start to rub off, and a grunt without his feet is absolutely useless. That is a no-go. So let's start with what I'm wearing now. The temperatures are in the low 40s, kind of dip into the upper 30s, so it's not cold enough for everything to freeze, but it is damn cold, especially with all the precipitation we're getting. You get soaked to the bone. Even with a really good jacket on, things start to get soaked after a while. You will start to get some bleed through. But because it's so wet, this is what I'm wearing now. So these are just a good pair of rain boots. You can get them from places like Tractor Supply. Heavy duty, thick rubber. I'm wearing 2 pairs of wool socks. One of them is more skin tight, a little thinner. The other one is my kind of thicker, a lot warmer one. So with these temperatures, my feet are nice and toasty. And with these boots, you see what kind of terrain I'm walking around in. Nice and dry, no issues at all. So these boots, you know, in the South we'll call them clod hoppers or whatever. You know, they're not really something you're gonna go rucking in. You're not gonna cover a lot of distance in them. You could. There's farmers and ranchers that wear these things all day, every day, you know, covering miles. But rain boots, as comfortable as they are and as dry as they keep your feet, they're not really the most practical solution. So what can we do? Well, you've got the good old black leather jungle boots. My cheap old pair that I bought years ago are still holding up. A little bit of shoe goo on the sole and you're good to go. Now, they're jungle boots, so they have the drain plugs in them. But what you could do is coat those things. I've put epoxy or Minwax on there, like an outdoor coating, and you know, people say it's not good for the leather, but I haven't destroyed mine yet. And what that does, it doesn't make them waterproof, but it definitely lets water run off of them. And then I'll even put some purposely in the little drain holes just to clog those up. So if I do happen to step into a deep puddle, some water might get in, but it's not going to be gushing through there. It'll be temporary. But, you know, walking around terrain like this, your biggest problem is the top and ends of your boots rubbing up against all this wet underbrush. So like the suede boots, the desert boots, all our favorite boots from this generation, your feet will get soaked after 1 minute of walking through this terrain. So that's a definite no-go. When people talk about the Gore-Tex waterproof boots, guys, that's all a scam. I'll tell you what, there is no boot that is 100% waterproof and breathable. It does not exist. You either have waterproof or you have breathable. Exhibit A, big old freaking cloud hopping rain boots. These are heavy duty rubber and they are waterproof. Well, guess what? My feet ain't gonna breathe in them. If I start covering miles in this terrain, getting all hot and sweaty, it's gonna get mushy down there. I'm okay with that because of all the rucking. My feet are tough enough to handle that. As soon as I stop for a longer break or the overnighter, change those socks out, my feet are happy. But these Gore-Tex waterproof boots people are selling you, they are not waterproof. Believe me. If you believe that, go out there in weather like this or snow all day long and walk through them. And people say, well, you can coat those. Okay, well, if you coat them to where they are 100% waterproof and you can walk through creeks like this all day long, they're not breathable. You can keep yelling at me and yelling at us all you want. But, you know, if you believe in that, fine. Spend your money on those boots and have fun when you get out there and figure some stuff out. Let's talk about when it's getting down to freezing temperatures. We've got maybe some wet snow or sleeting ice rain, but freezing temperatures. Let's finish up our patrol and we'll get back to it. I'll tell you what, man, I used to make fun of these wet weather pants. I'd only break them out in Arctic conditions. But in weather like this, oh man, they are so much better. And, you know, we used to make fun of them because of the noise. But you hear the rain and the creek down there. I don't hear my pants at all right next to them. Not sure if this audio is going to work with all that rain hitting the freaking roof. That's nobody peeing, by the way. That's my full gutter running off of my tank. Need to get an overflow in a second tank. Chores, man, never ends. Alright, so what do we do about freezing temperatures? Or just crappy like this, and we're babies about our feet getting wet and cold. These are the U.S. Army extreme cold weather boots. We call these the bunny boots. There's a black version that are called the Mickey Mouse boots. Now apparently these are supposed to be rated down to -40 Fahrenheit. I don't believe that. And the black ones are supposed to be rated down to -20 Fahrenheit. I don't believe that. I would be safe and go with -10, maybe 0 with these without movement. If you're moving around, you'll be good to go. Fortunately, I have never been in temperatures like that. Like most of you guys watching this, I haven't, you know, those are freaking Arctic frigid temperatures. There's like 1% of the population living in places like that. 1% of the military has trained in that. Probably 0.05% of you guys watching this stuff are in those temperatures. Because after all, if you live there, why the heck are you watching me talking about cold weather stuff? But I have been as low as 4 degrees Fahrenheit. For me, that is damn cold. So, in those temperatures, you're freaking warm and toasty. I mean, it's unbelievable. Why is that? Well, these boots have 7 layers in them. 7. That makes them heavy. Very heavy. So stomping around in weather like this, they may be a little too heavy. It's going to tire you out a lot quicker. You know, they're cumbersome. The tread is worn off pretty significantly, so the mud, I'd be eating it a lot. True waterproof, right? So people say, well, if they're true waterproof, like you say, aren't your feet gonna sweat a lot and not breathe? Absolutely. Your feet will get soaking wet from sweat in these. I've had nights where I pulled these off to climb in my fart sack, dump them upside down, and sweat comes out. But the thing is, with all those layers, your feet will still be warm. So you can be walking around in, you know, 10-degree Fahrenheit weather. Your feet will get soaked from the sweat if you're moving around, but they won't freeze. It's unbelievable. And then when you're laying in that OP, no longer sweating and all heated up and stuff, your feet will not freeze once your body has cooled off. Insane. You can get boots like this usually in the off season, like late spring, summertime. That's when people are getting rid of stuff like this. You can get these for as low as 60 bucks on eBay. There are a couple military surplus sites that sell them. You're just going to have to be very careful about the condition listed and what you actually get. So most of the surplus stores, they're better than the eBay guys. You can actually send them back. So if it says used condition but serviceable, that's going to be something like this. I've had mine for 2 years, and that's about how they showed up. I don't know if you can see it that well, but mine showed up pretty beat up with the treads pretty worn down. That was acceptable for me for what I paid. The black Mickey Mouse boots, they, for whatever reason, seem to be harder to find, maybe because they're older. But either one is going to be great, and crap like this, even down to freezing. So, give those a looky-loo, and you might get lucky and get a good deal. It's going to be like this all day, and then turn to snow tonight. Break is about over. It's time to patrol the rest of the area. So I'll see you guys in a bit.